So we've decided to title the message, God Clothes You.
我们的题目是神为你作衣。
여러분들은 입히신다 이런 제목으로 말씀드릴 거예요.
Now, when we hear a sermon title like that,
当我们听见这样的题目的
which
时
is the
候，
word that jumps out to you first?
你会想起什么呢？
여러분들을 좀 익사이트하게 만드나요? 좋게.
Now, honestly speaking, the word is always the you part, right? That's our favorite word. Me. God clothes me.
诚实的来说，我们通常会想到，哦，是我，
어떻게 된 건지
是我。
잘 찾게 되죠.
Right? That's how advertising works. Gets our attention because it's about me. So God clothes me.
这是广告经常用的词，就是我神会为我作衣，来引起我们的注意力。
나한테 어떤 옷을 입히시나.
All right, so let's say, we'll set aside that word and say, which of the other words then gets your attention the
那我
most?
们放在这一个字一边，然后我们再想一下另外一个词。
관심이 가는 말이 뭐예요?
And if we were being honest with ourselves, we'd say it's that word clothed.
如果我们诚实的说的话，那就是衣服。
라는 거에 우리가 이렇게 관심이 가는데요.
Right? Because we always want to know if me is our most precious word, we want to know what's in it for me. And in this case, what's in it for me is clothing.
那因为我们经常想到我们自己是最重要的，然后我们就会想到其他的，那就是衣服，我们要
And
穿
so
的
it's
衣
very
服。
easy for us to hear a verse like this and hear it as a promise from God of lifetime clothing for us.
所以经常我们不会听见说神会为我们预备生活中的衣裳、衣服，
Now, that sounds pretty good.
但这听起来很好。
And so we assume then that as long as we do what we're supposed to do, it means that we should never lack for clothing, or not only clothing, but other resources too, food, shelter, and all those kinds of things.
假设说我们只要努力的工作，我们就不会缺少，就不会缺衣少食。
전 인생을 살 동안 있을 것이고 또 음식도 공급받을 거고 이렇게 생각돼요.
Now, this year, of course, we're focused on the promises of God.
那今年我们所要关注的是神的应许，
이제 말씀을 배울 건데요.
And so we come again with this promise of God to the same problem that we always face with every promise of
那么
God.
我们这一条应许跟神的其他的应许都是有同样的问题。
문제가 생겨요.
Right? Which is that we can either think of personal experiences in our life, or we can think of hypothetical experiences, things that have happened to other people where this promise does not come true, seemingly.
我们通常会根据自己的经验或者是其他人的经验来判断这些应许是否真正的发生了。
가정을 하게 돼요.
Right? So as is always the case, there are three options then.
那通常会有3项的选择。
상황이 이렇게 생각하게 되는데요.
Right? The first option, which many Christians take, is they assume, okay, then if I don't get the lifetime supply of clothing or food or shelter, it means that I did something wrong. I sinned, I didn't worship well enough, I didn't give enough money.
第一个选择就是很多的基督徒都接受的，说如果我
따르지 않는
生活缺衣少食的话，那可能是我犯罪了，或者是我做的不够努力，我不是好的基督徒。
Right? The second option, which is always possible, is that God wasn't telling the truth.
那第二条可能也有可能说神可能没有说实话，
Yeah.
God
That God lied.
神他
God,
欺骗了我们。
약속에 대해서
right? So this happens sometimes in our Christian life when we don't get those things that we know we need to sustain us: food, clothing, shelter. We say, God, you lied to me.
所以当我们通常得不到我们的食物或者所需要的东西的时候，我们就会觉得神他在欺骗我们。
생각하게 돼요.
And so, as always, we say, let's not go for option 1 or option 2. Let's go for option 3.
那我们不要看选项1或者是第二个，我们看第3个。
번째 경우로 우리가 생각하게 되는데요.
Now, option 3 is not that we did something wrong,
第3个不是因为我们做错了
not
什么
that
事
God
情，
did something
或者
wrong,
神做错了什么事情，
말씀하신 것도 아니고
but that because our focus is in the wrong
而
place,
是因为我们看错了地方，
we miss out on what God is actually promising,
我们 没有正确的理解神的应许的本身。
And what God is actually promising isn't less than we were hoping for, it's actually more.
神所应许的其实是超过我们所求所想的。
And this is why I wanted us to memorize the verse that had to do not with the pretty flowers, but with the grass.
所以我要请你们记得这节
I
经
didn't
文。
want to focus on the verse that had to do with the pretty flowers. I wanted to focus on the verse about the ordinary
不
grass.
是关于美丽的花朵，而是关于平凡的小草， 地上的草。
Because grass is so grassy.
因为草它是很普通的。
And that's kind of Jesus' point. He's saying, if this is true for grass,
然而耶稣说，对于地上的草来说，
then you don't have to worry at all when it comes to you.
那你也不用去担心了。
So if we want to understand the promise that God is making to
如
us,
果我们想要明白神的应许，
we have to make sure we focus on the right word in the sentence.
我们必须要去来找到这句话中的正确的句
So
子。
in that sentence, God clothes
比
you.
如说，神为你做衣服。
Right? Naturally, we want to focus on the you or me
通
part.
常我们会想到的是，你我这个人。
Our second choice is to focus on the clothing part, the what we get
然后
part.
我们会选择我们会得到什么？比如说衣服。
Right? But when we talk about the promises of God, we need to understand that they are primarily promises about God.
可是当我们讲到神的应许的时候，这个应许是关于神的，不是关于人的。
Right? They are guaranteed to happen because God is a certain way.
他们通常都会真实的发生的，因为神在做工。
Right? God, like you, has a personality.
神他像我们一样是有性格的，
Right? But unlike you and me, his personality never
但不
changes.
同的是他的性格是不改变的，
It is always the same.
是永远一样的，
It has always been the same. It always will be the same.
他总是一样的，不会改变的。
And so when we hear the promise, God clothes
所
you,
以当我们听见说神为你做衣服，
right? The focus of that sentence is always on God and the kind of personality he has.
主要就是说神跟他的性格。
And the kind of personality God has is that God always knows
真的，
what we need and he supplies to us according to what is needed.
神的性格是他知道我们所需要的是什么，然后他会跟着我们所需要的来提供我们所需要的
God doesn't
东
always
西。
supply what we want.
神不会给我们想要的，
He doesn't always supply what we think we
神
need.
也不会给我们觉得我们需要的。
But God is so reliable that we can be confident that whatever we receive is what God knows that we need for that moment.
但神是信实的，所以我们可以确信的说，我们所得到的都是神觉得我们需要
So let
的。
me make that really, let me simplify the language of that a little
我
bit.
来简单的说一下吧。
So when we pray, give us this day our daily
我们
bread,
祷告说，给我们日用的食物。
it's not that if we didn't pray that, God would forget to feed us.
并不是说我们不祷告，神就会忘记给我们了。
뭐가 필요한지 몰라서 기도하는 걸 잊어버려서 하나님이 우리한테 공급한 것이 아니라
Right? Jesus would say, that is not God's personality. That is not the character of
可
the
是
Father.
这不是神的应许，这不是神做事的风格。
So the best way for us to understand that phrase, give us this day our daily bread,
那正确的理解方式是什么呢？赐给我们日用的饮食
is like this.
是这样的。
God, whatever you give us today, help us to understand and receive it as the daily bread that we
就
need.
是上帝，不管你今天给我们什么，请帮助我们知道，这就是我们今天所需要的。
다는 걸 이해하는 거예요. 감사해야 하는 거예요.
And you may be thinking, okay, yeah, so I sort of understand what you're saying, but what if you don't get anything?
哦，你觉得好吧，这样也可以。可是如果我什么都没有得到呢？
어떻게 되는 겁니까?
And interestingly, that is what Jesus is explaining in the scripture that we
那
learned.
有意思的是，耶稣刚好在我们所背的经文里面告诉了我们的意
Jesus
思。
actually says that the grass receives two kinds of clothing.
耶稣说，草它有两种衣服，啊，得到两种衣服。
Now, you may have only noticed one kind of clothing that he
你
talks
可
about,
能会觉得只有一种衣服，
옷을 입었다고 생각해요.
right? Which is when grass is wearing the green clothing,
也是绿色的衣服。
풀이 그냥 초록색을 입었잖아요.
right? And then you can look at it and say, wow, that sure is pretty. Yeah, God did clothe the grass of the
你
field.
觉得哇很好看，神会给野地的草这样的装饰。
아름답게 입혔구나 이렇게 생각해요.
But Jesus talks about a second outfit that the grass
可是
wears.
耶稣说的是另外一种衣服，
입힌 옷에 대해서 얘기하세요.
And what is that outfit that he
那
mentioned?
是什么呢？
하나님이 말씀하신 언급하시는 그 두 번째 옷이 무엇일까요?
Fire.
是火，
Fire.
是火。
아, 불이래요. 불. 두 번째 옷은 불.
You see, grass is green when it is the time for grass to be green, when the purpose of the grass is to provide shade and oxygen and a place for you to sit.
那小草在它该是绿色的时候呢，它是绿色的。比如说，它需要在那个时候提供氧气、
Grass
水
is green
分
when、it's time
养
to
分，
feed the animals.
그때는
可以给动物吃。
한테 또 먹이게도 하죠.
But that is not the only purpose of
可
grass.
是那并不是草的生命的目标。
그거는 아니에요.
Right? When grass is bundled up and burned, it's not simply for the sake of getting rid of it because it's useless.
那小草被烧火的时候，并不是因为它没有用了，所以被扔掉了。
이렇게 제거하려고 하는 게 아니에요.
Right? What useful thing might grass produce when it is burned?
那小草被烧火的时候，它会产生什么样的作用呢？
줄까요?
Heat
就是
and light.
光跟温暖。
풀이 불에 태워지면 이 난방을 해주죠. 따뜻하게 해주죠.
And so you see, when it is time for heat and light to be produced, God clothes the grass with fire.
当有需要光跟温暖的时候，神就用火为小草做衣服。
그다음에 heat and what?
Light.
그 빛을 이렇게 풀이 주게 되면 그거로 인해서 우리가 도움을 얻게 돼요.
Yeah.
What kind of benefit we have?
So when it is time for heat and light to be produced, God clothes the grass with fire.
그 난방과 그 다음에 뭐였지? 빛이 생기게 되면 하나님이 또 태워짐으로 인해서 난방을 우리를 따뜻하게 해주고 그 다음 빛을 또 우리에게 줍니다.
You may not think of this as a benefit, but when grass catches fire, the other thing that it does is it reminds us human beings that we are not in control of everything.
你可能觉得这不是有好处的，可是
그러면 그때 우리가
小草被烧着的时候，可以让我们想起我们人总是不能够掌控环境的。
할 수 없다라는 걸 알게 됩니다.
Right? We human beings, we like to be masters of our own environment. We like to believe we control everything.
我们人总是觉得自己可以控制一切，可以掌控环境。
감당하고 싶어해요. 메스터하고 싶어하는데
But Dr. Foley and I, we used to live in the United States and the state of California.
我跟弗利博士，我们以前住在美国的加州。
And when we lived there,
我们住在那里的时候呢，
the largest fire in the history of the state of California was
当
burned.
时发生了一场那个州有史以来最大的火
How
灾。
did it happen?
那是怎么发生的呢？
It happened because of a camper who they weren't even trying to be careless. They were just actually they were trying to get rid of their toilet
那
paper.
是因为有一些露营者在处理他们的这个厕所纸的时候呢，
And in doing that, they accidentally set
然后
this
很
grass on
意
fire.
外
and
的
it
点
ended
着
up
了地
burning
上
quite a
的
fire.
풀들이
草。
불에 타가지고 큰 불로 발전한 거예요.
Now, when you and I hear that story, we say, well, that can't be of any benefit to anyone to find out that we're not in control of things.
可能你会说，当我们发现自己不能够掌控一切的时候，这并不能给人带来
And
好
so
处。
I heard a Christian writer recently
我最近看到一个基督徒的作家说，
쓰는 사람 기독교인을 아는데요.
he talked about how when he was a boy, his grandfather, when his grandfather got old, suffered and got cancer and suffered for quite some time very painfully before he
他
died.
说他小的时候，他的祖父因为得了癌症，所以受了很多年的苦。
동안 이렇게 고통이 있으셨어요.
And as a boy, he asked the pastor, he said, why must my grandfather experience this suffering and pain? Why can't God just take him away so he doesn't experience any bad
就
thing?
问牧师说，为什么我的祖父要受这么多的苦难，而上帝不能够把他接走，结束他的痛苦呢？
문제에 대해서 물어봤어요.
He thought the pastor was going to say to him, well, it is unknown. God is mysterious in his ways.
他以为牧师会说，这是我们不能够知道的，因为神是奥秘的神。
But instead, the pastor responded like
可是
this.
牧师是这样说的：
대답하시는 거예요.
All of us human beings have to learn that we are not self-reliant, but that we rely on God. We are creatures who rely on Him.
就是我们人类呢是不可靠的，我们靠不了自己的，我们要靠上帝的，依靠上帝的。
해야 되는 그런 하나님의 피조물이라는 것을 알아야 된다. 이렇게 얘기했어요.
It is when we experience illness before we die that God prepares us to meet our Maker through that realization.
就是神让我们在遇见我们的造物主之前，透过疾病让我们有这样的认识，有这样的了解。
하나님께 가기 전에 하나님 우리를 만들어준 이 인간을 창조하신 분을 만날 수 있도록 한다는 거예요.
So you see, we human beings have a way that we think things ought to be clothed and not be clothed.
我们
우리 인간이 생각
的头脑是简单的，我们觉得有些事情可能有衣服，或者是没有衣服。
안다라고 생각해요.
And when we see something like our grandfather suffering, we can judge God and say, that is the wrong kind of clothing. You've clothed him with
比如说，
suffering.
我们看到我们的祖父受苦的时候，我们就会说：“上帝，这是不好的衣服，因为他在受苦，他在难过。
공급해주지 않았다. 뭐 이렇게 생각해요.
When we see a fire that's burning, we'd say, Lord, you clothed that hillside with the wrong kind of clothing.
当我们看见着火的时候，我们就会说：上帝，你穿错了衣服，那个是不好的灾难。
우리의 생각을 기준으로 해서 하나님을 심판해요.
And so this is why it's important for us to pray the Lord's Prayer and to pray, Lord, give us this day our daily bread.
所以，我们祷告说：主啊，给我们应的饮食是很重要的。
양식을 달라고 기도하는 이유가 이것 때문이에요.
And to understand that what we're really praying is, Lord, whatever we receive from your hand today, help us understand it is the bread we need.
就是说，不管我们今天得到什么，我们要知道，这就是我们今天所需要的食物。
주님께서 주신 모든 상황에 대해서 내가 주님을 이해할 수 있게 해주세요라는 그런 얘기예요.
And so what is true of food is also true of shelter, and it's also true of clothing.
那对食物是这样子的，对其他的
What is true of food is also true of shelter, and it's true of clothing.
그래서 옷이나 입는다는 거는 옷이나 뭐 이렇게 우리가 거하는 거나 다 포함을 하는 거예요. 일용할 양식은.
God knows what we need to eat,
神知道我们需要吃什么，
what kind of shelter
我
we
们
need to
需要
have.
什么样的房子住的地方。
있어야 되는지도 아시고요.
You know, Christians in Iraq are some of the oldest or longest lasting Christians in the world. Their Christian history goes back to the beginning of Jesus'
就
time.
是伊拉克的基督徒，他们的历史是世界上最长的，他们的教会从一开始
But
就
today,
有
of course,
的。
they're suffering greatly.
可是今天他们却受了很多的苦。
고난당하고 있어요.
So, in the last, especially in the last 20 years or so,
特别是在过去的20年的时间，
Christians have been kicked out of their
基督
homes.
徒被
기독교인들이 자기
迫离开家园。
쫓겨남을 당하고
So there was a grandmother who was an Iraqi Christian woman,
有一个年老的基督徒妈妈奶奶，
And she had lived as a Christian in Iraq all her life, and actually a fairly nice home. Her family was well off.
他一辈子都住在伊拉克这个地方，然后他的家的房子也都很不错的，很不错的
But then
家。
as a result of persecution, her home was burnt to the ground.
可是逼迫发生的时候，他的房子被拆掉了。
So she returned to the home.
他回到家里面的时候，
She looked around, and of course there was nothing left
可
but
是
ashes.
只有一片的废墟，什么都没有。
아무것도 없는 거예요. 재만 남았어요.
What would you say in that
那
moment?
如果是你的话，你会怎样说呢？
Right? You could say, God, did I do something wrong to deserve
上
this?
帝，是不是我做错了什么事情，所以才会发
Or
生
would
这
you
样的事
shake
情？
your fist at God and say, God, how could you do this to me after a lifetime of
或者是
faithfulness?
你向神举起拳头说：“上帝，你为什么这样做？”
Instead,
我这么有信心的。
this is what the Iraqi grandmother said.
可是这个伊拉克的老奶奶是说什么呢？
She said, Praise
她
God,
说：“赞美神，
찬양합니다.
for he has reminded us that homes and things are temporary and pass
就是
away.
他提醒我们，
이런
我们的房屋都是短暂的，都会失去的。
저에게 알려주셨습니다.
The Lord gives and the Lord takes
神
away.
他给我们，神他也可以拿走。
가져가시기도 합니다.
But the Lord's care endures
可是
forever.
主的看顾是存到永远的。
하나님은 영원히 될 것입니다.
So on that day, the shelter that the Iraqi Christian woman received was not the shelter of a very nice home.
那一天，这个老奶奶又有了一个家，可是跟她以前的家比，不是那么的好。
그 쉼터는 그렇게 뭐 나이스한 그런 집은 아니었지만
It was the shelter of the wings of God, who spread his care over her and said, Even though you no longer have your home, you will always have me.
而是神的翅膀，神说：“虽然你没有了家，可是你永远是有我的。”
정말
So even though you no longer have your home,
더 이상 그분이 할머니가 가지고 있던 집은
you will
없어졌지만
always have me.
항상 나를 갖고 있을 거라 나와 함께 있을 거다 그거를 알려주신 거예요.
And so with food, with shelter, is also true of clothing.
对我们的食物、房子是这样的，衣服当然也是这样的。
뭐죠? 일용할 양식인 거예요.
You may recognize the name of the martyr Perpetua.
可能你们会想起一个殉道者的名字，叫做 Perpetua。
Have you heard of that name
不知
before?
道你们是否知道这个名字？
You may want to check the martyr's
可
timeline.
能你要去看这个殉道的时
But I
间表了，
appreciate your honesty, Kayla. That's good. That does not ring a bell. It's right here.
就在
You
那
can see
个
her
地
plaque.
方。
She was martyred in 203 AD.
他是在203年的时候
203.
殉道的，主后203年。
203.
230년에 그때 순교하신 분인데요. 페피추아.
And her story was so interesting because she was a new mother. She had just given birth to a
她
baby.
的故事很有意思，她是一个刚生完孩子的妈妈，
금방 아기를 낳은
一个母亲。
And her whole family begged her. They said, look, there's no reason why you should die for your faith now, because all you're going to do is leave behind this baby who no one will be able to nurse the baby.
她说，她的家人都劝她说：“你不要为你的信仰牺牲了，你现在有孩子了，谁来照顾他呢？”
아기를 돌봐야지 누가 돌보냐 이렇게 얘기를 했어요.
But Perpetua knew that what God gives us in that day is our daily bread, and we can receive it as good food.
但是 Perpetua 知道那一天神给她的是好的，是她日用的食物。
이게 일용할 양식이라고 생각을 했어요.
And so she refused to deny Christ.
她拒绝否认耶稣。
그것을 거부했어요.
And so she and other martyrs were brought out into the Roman arena.
她和其他的基督徒被带到罗马的剧院里面，就是斗兽场里面，
And they were stripped completely naked.
他们的衣服被脱去了，是裸体的。
벌게벗게 만들었어요.
Now imagine that if you were a woman who had just given birth to a
想象
child.
一下，如果你是刚生完孩子的女人，然后
옷을 다 벗겨짐을 당한 거예요.
Right. What a shame you would be
你会
likely to
感
feel.
到多么的羞
Somebody
耻
give
啊
me！something to cover myself
谁
up.
能给我一件衣服穿上呢？
뭐 가릴 수 있게 좀 주세요. 이럴 수 있었을 거예요.
But this is not how she responded
可
at
是这
all.
不是他的回答，
설교자는 그렇게 반응하지 않았어요.
Because we should remember something about clothing and human
我
beings.
们人经常会想到衣服，
우리가 생각해봐야 돼요.
We're not actually designed to wear it.
这些衣服有的衣服并不是为了穿而存在的。
그런 옷만 존재하는 건 아니에요.
Right? When God created Adam and Eve, they were naked and not
当
ashamed.
神创造亚当跟夏娃的时候，他们是裸体的，他们不会有羞耻的，
They didn't need clothing because they were clothed with the glory of
他
God.
们也不需要穿衣服，因为他们是被神的荣耀所包裹的。
하나님의 옷을 입었기 때문에 옷이 필요 없었던 거예요.
But when they sinned,
但是当他们犯罪的时候，
suddenly that glory departed,
神的荣耀就离开了，
영광이라는 그 옷이 그냥 없어진 거예요.
and they realized they were naked and they were
然后
ashamed.
他们发现自己是裸体的，然后就感到很羞耻。
옷인 거 아는 거예요. 그래서 옷이 필요하게 된 거예요.
And how does God
可
respond?
是神是如何回应的呢？
반응하셨을까요?
God makes clothing for them.
神为他做衣服，
대려 만들어 주셨어요.
He gets out his little sewing machine.
예, 뭐
然后给他做一个小的缝衣服的机
He
器
makes， clothing out of skin.
然后用那个皮子给他们做衣服。
쭉 가지고 옷을 만들어 주셨어요.
Because you see, God always provides the clothing that is needed.
神通常会供应需要衣服的时候
So in
的
this
衣
case,
服。
the clothing was needed because of the fact that the human beings had sinned and they lost the glory of God.
亚当和夏娃需要衣服，因为他们犯罪失去神的荣耀，所以变得羞耻。
영광으로 옷을 입혔던 것을 이제 잊어버리게 된 거예요. 그래서 하나님께서 옷을 만들어 주신 거예요.
Now, Jesus had no sin,
可是耶稣是没有犯罪的，
죄가 없으셨어요.
but this doesn't mean that he walked around naked.
但不代表说他就可以裸体的到处走。
다니신 게 아니에요.
We know what Jesus wore because it even tells us in the Bible that at the end of his life, as he was being crucified on the cross, they gambled for his robe, which didn't have any. It was one
我
piece.
们都知道，耶稣被钉十字架的时候，人们为他的衣服而占究，所以我们知道他是裸体的。
그때 벌거벗으셨어요.
And so when Jesus was on the cross,
当耶稣在十字架上的时候，
he was wearing no
他
clothing,
是没有穿衣服的，
but his Father had clothed him exactly as was necessary.
可是神却给他穿上了所需要的衣服。
Because Jesus says it is on the cross that he revealed his full glory.
因为在十字架上，他彰显出了他所有的荣耀，全部的荣光。
긴 영광을 입으셨었거든요.
And this is what John says. He doesn't say we saw him naked.
所以约翰说，我们看到他不是裸体的，
예수님이 옷 입은 것을 본 것은 아니지만
He says we beheld his glory.
我们看到的是他的荣耀。
Because Jesus was clothed with the glory of
因为
God.
耶稣所披戴的是神的
Jesus
荣
was
耀，
clothed with the glory of God.
하나님의 영광을 입었기 때문에 그 옷을 입은 거예요.
And in Revelation, John is actually even given a glimpse of this glory.
然后在约翰的启示录当中，他是也看到了、瞥见了耶稣的荣耀。
영광을 입었다고 했어요.
Remember, Jesus kind of comes up and taps him on the shoulder, and John turns around and, wow!
然后耶稣来
In the book of Revelation.
找约翰，耶稣来找约翰的时候，约翰就非常惊讶的看到了耶稣的荣光。
보여주는데도 막 깜짝 놀랄 정도의 그러한 영광을 입었기 때문에 그 빛이 난 거예요.
And do you remember how Jesus is described?
你知道耶稣是怎么说的呢？
설명했는지 아세요?
Do you remember anything about that description? What it says? What does it say about his eyes?
그 눈이 어땠다고?
他
Flames.
的眼镜，圣经说他的眼镜像火焰一样。
그 불길이라고 그러죠.
What else?
还有什么呢？
불이 쏟는다 그러나? flame.
Yeah, later on it talks about a tattoo on his thigh. But in that first section, he shines with the glory of the sun. I mean, he
就是他
shines like with the brightness of the
像
sun.
烈日一样发光。
태양의 그 환한 그런 것을 보여줬다고 그랬어요.
John can barely even look at him.
然后约翰甚至不能够直接的看着他。
So you see, once again, the Father has clothed the Son as is needed for the hour.
所以
필요한 시간에
上帝就在
그 아들을 입히시고
圣子需要的时候给
When
他衣服
Perpetua
穿。
was in the arena,
그래서
当那个 Papaccio 在罗马的斗兽场的时候呢，
and all of her clothing was taken
他
from
的
her.
衣服被全部脱去了。
She doesn't think, what did I do
他
wrong?
没有说我做错什么了，
이 순교자가 내가 뭘 잘못했지 그렇게 생각하지 않았어요.
She doesn't think God broke his promise.
或者是神没有信守他的承诺。
또 않았어요.
She thinks it is no longer necessary.
说我不再需要穿衣服了，
필요하지 않다 이렇게 생각했어요.
It is time for me to go home.
是时候回家了。
그냥 집에 갈 시간이니.
And that's why Paul refers to his own body as a tent.
所以保罗说他的身体就像帐篷一样。
바울은 자기의 그 몸을 텐트라고 얘기했어요. 천막이라고 얘기했어요.
It's temporary,
是暂时的。
그 일시적인 천막이라고 얘기했어요.
right? People don't spend a lot of money decorating a tent.
没有人会花很多的钱去装修帐篷，对吧？
그게 돈을 많이 투자하지 않아요.
Right? We take good care of it,
我们会照顾好帐篷，
이렇게 천막을 잘 이렇게 보살피기는 하죠.
right? If it gets a hole in it, we patch it up.
然后我们
구멍이 있으면
用完之后就会装起来。
But normally people that are really good campers, they don't like make big fancy designs on their tent.
是那些很专业的露营者，他们不会把帐篷弄得很五颜六色，或者是
Because that's not what a tent is for.
因为那并不是帐篷的功
So
用
when。Paul talks about us and our tents, our
所以
bodies,
当保罗说我们的身体就是帐篷的时候，
천막과 다른 사람의 천막에 대해서 얘기하고 있어요.
he assures us that God knows how to provide us what we need for our tent
저
for as
知道。
long as it's necessary.
필요한 만큼
因为
우리에게 어떤
神他也会按照我们所需要的来装饰
He
我们的
tells us
身
that as
体。
long as we have food and clothing, we should say we are content.
当我们有衣服有食物的时候，我们应当是知足的。
컨텐츠 족하다 이렇게 얘기하고 있어요.
He says, don't spend a lot of time or money or effort to make your tent look really great, like with
对。
adornment in your hair, plastic surgery, fancy clothes.
所以不要花时间精力去放在你的衣服，或者是整容，或者是发型上面，
꾸미는데 뭐 수술을 하고 막 할 필요가 없다는 거예요.
Because it's a tent.
因为那就是一个帐篷，
네, 그래요. 우리 몸은
It's not what it's for.
천막이
只是一个帐篷而已。
화려하게 꾸밀 필요가 없어요.
So today, you have food, yes?
今天你有食物对吗？
여러분 음식이 있습니까?
You have
你
clothing?
有衣服，
옷이 있습니까?
You have a place to sleep.
你有地方住。
옷이 있습니까?
Then we say to the Lord, then I receive these things as your daily bread.
我们可以对主说：“这是你赐给我们日用的饮食。
감사합니다. 그러면
You see, whatever is in the cup that God gives us to drink, we drink it with thanksgiving.
不管我们的杯子里面是什么，然后我们就用感恩去来领受。
됩니다. 감사하면서.
So when that cup contains food and clothing and good health and a place to stay, we give thanks to the Lord.
不管我们的杯子里面装的是什么，我们要感谢神。
이나 뭐 좋은 것들이 있으면 또 감사하면서 또 받으면 됩니다.
But when the cup contains only a single drop,
不管我们的杯子里面，或者我们杯子里面有一个，
right, we don't say,
灰尘。
I must have sinned or God must have
或者
lied.
是
내가 왜 이거
我犯罪了，或者是神他是骗子，
하나님이 뭐 실수한 거 아닌가?
We receive it from the
我
Lord.
们从主领受了，
주님으로부터 모든 걸 주님으로부터 받아야 됩니다.
We offer thanks to
我
Him
们感谢他，
감사해야 됩니다.
because we know
因为我们知道
that it's time to go home.
是我们该回家的时候了。
우리가